Right, let's take you back to politics now. The Democratic Alliance has been granted a lifeline. A Johannesburg Council sitting planned for today has been interdicted. A motion of no confidence against Mayor Pule Letshwiti was expected to be tabled. Letshwiti argued that self-appointed acting Speaker Colleen Makhubela has no right to call the meeting. Pule Letshwiti Jones is following up on this and joins us now. Good morning, Pule. Just talk to us about reaction from the minority parties and particularly the Democratic Alliance, because they have indeed been given that lifeline.
Definitely, the Democratic Alliance has welcomed yesterday's judgment, which of course saw the special council meeting that was supposed to sit today being interdicted. We also understand that a motion of no confidence against Mayor Pule Letshwiti was expected to be passed through. And they've welcomed the judgment, pretty much also saying that the opposition parties have been humiliated. I mean, the executive mayor, Pule Letshwiti, has been making it quite clear. She's been quite adamant that this whole process will not pass in terms of trying to oust her out of office. And also we do understand that she will be speaking to the media at about 11 a.m., particularly to draw their stands on this matter and give us more clarity as to what's the next step forward. But most importantly, right now I'm joined by some of those from the opposition parties, particularly from Al Jama, Tapela Ahmad. You'd remember he was also one of the people who, which the party filed a motion of no confidence against the mayor. Thank you very much for joining us, Tapela. So yesterday, of course, that judgment not going into your favor, but she also saying that this is not the end of it.
Thank you very much, Pule. Good morning to you and the listeners, or rather the viewers at home. So we as a party and the minority opposition parties in the city of Johannesburg, we also welcome the judgment, but we're just hoping that it's not human error, on the basis that we remain resolute on our mission, and also ensuring that we hold council with proper decorum, and the residents in the city of Johannesburg, they get their expression through the services that the city has to render to them.
So take us through this whole process right now. I know the acting city manager now will be presiding over the next council session, but do you still think that you've got the numbers in terms of reaching quorum and effectively so coming together to ask the mayor like you did with the then Speaker Vasco da Gama?
Look, from the Democratic Alliance point of view, or together with the Action SA, those who are in government, I think they are trying to stall the processes, to delay the processes, and to deflect. It's a game of numbers nonetheless. The outcome of the judgment yesterday doesn't derail any process that we are embarking on the basis that whatever that they are running away from, they will still face in the next council sitting. We do not know why are they trying to stall the process, and we're not sure why are they also interdicting council from ensuring that they hold upon their fiduciary duty. But I can say, rest assured that we are confident that we are going to emerge victorious. It was just a first step in learning. It's a learning curve for us through that court process, but we remain resolute.
What's the rush to ask the mayor out of office?
Look, it's not only us who are not confident against the executive mayor. It's not the rush to oust him, but it's the rush to serve the residents of Johannesburg and ensure that we hold the decorum of council without any prejudice. Look, the mayor is the mayor. When she first came into the office, the first thing that she did, she looked at everyone as the other, right? The other in a sense that if you are not wearing a blue t-shirt, you do not belong. You don't have a political home. So it's a problem. As a mayor, you need to be a mayor of everyone, including the residents who are in the marginalized areas. You need to provide them, and then you need to hold them. You need to hold their hands so that you ensure that these are the residents of Johannesburg. You must also foster social cohesion. I don't want to say much on the failures of service delivery or the failure, rather the issues or the cloud of maladministration, corruption, fraudulent activities within the city. The least that I could say is that the city paid the legal fees because they applied as the city, instead of them ensuring that they need to use this money and prioritize it to serve the people. This is the taxpayers' money, so we can't deliberate mainly on other issues of this nature. So, in confidence between me and you, Pule, what I wanted to say is that the judgment, the reason why I say I hope that it's not human error, it was based on Rule 19 versus Rule 41. The acting speaker's argument was based on Rule 19, and the applicant's argument was based on Rule 41. So those were the technicalities that we were faced with yesterday.
Now, also, I just want to come in there when you speak about Vasco da Gama having to leave office now. A motion of no confidence tabled against him. He's ousted. Fast forward to that process. The acting speaker then, Colleen Makubela, comes in, and then she presides over a motion which is brought forward by Action SA. What does that mean now? Does that mean some of the things you discussed during the council sitting become null and void as well? That you now need to restart every process that you passed when having that council meeting, when Makubela was presiding over it?
Thank you for bringing this question. Look, we've always argued that Vasco is unfit for the office, the former speaker. He's flouting the rules of council, so much so that even when he was on his deathbed, he flouted the rules, in a sense that he presided on a motion that it was against him, and he was conflicted in the matter at the time. So immediately when he lost through numbers, so he made an announcement that the acting speaker must come and preside. So Rule 19 speaks when the Rule 19 provides or makes a provision when there isn't vacancy in the office of the speaker, when the speaker goes for comfort break, or the speaker has to appoint to say, okay, today I'm not available, can the acting speaker come and preside over the council? And Rule 41 speaks when there's a vacancy, and it further goes and say council must hold quorum, and then they must elect. So immediately when the speaker was outset, council didn't collapse. So technically speaking, when the speaker is outset, there's a vacancy there. So because we were all in council, and quorum was there, and then secondly, through the conduct of council and councillors, we didn't object that the chair of chairs at the time, who's supposed to be the acting speaker, shouldn't preside, because we do not have that office of the speaker. It has collapsed. So our conduct considered, and we all agreed that she must preside over the remaining item of the motion which was left. And if that's the case, and if they are arguing that she's not an acting speaker, well, she presided. It's a common cause. It's a common law. It's a case law, because it's a precedence. There was a vacancy in the office of the speaker. So we are saying, because that precedent has been set by council, she has to continue and uphold her duties. But where we come strong is that we are not worried as to who calls this particular meeting, whether it be the acting city manager or the acting speaker of council. It's of no consequence. What we want to see council sitting so that we can hold our fiduciary duty and hold the executive account.
What's the last one? I've seen a lot of residents also complaining about this, infighting between the two multi-party coalition parties and of course the opposition parties. That service delivery seems to be a concern as well. While the political fighting is at play, residents are suffering. Is this something you may be concerned about?
Yeah, it concerns us. When the executive mayor failed to go to Soweto, for argument's sake, the partners in the coalition, in the multi-party government, they presided over the meeting which was supposed to have been presided upon by the executive mayor, without the mayor endorsing them going in that meeting. If you remember in Jabulani, the Action SA, one of the MMCs went there and said, no, we are here as the Action SA, we are here to hear Ramona, to hear what are your grievances and the likes. So it's a concerning conduct, particularly when it emanates or when it comes from the partners of the coalition. It means that they themselves are not confident on this mayor. but we don't know what are the arrangements and the agreements between the parties which are governing the city of Johannesburg.
Ahmad from Al Jama'at, thank you very much for joining us there. Fundo speaking to us regarding what will be the next step forward for the opposition party, saying as much as the court judgment yesterday did not go in their favor, they remain resolute to say come towards month end they will continue with the motion against the mayor. Also will be quite importantly to hear what Mpho, executive mayor of Johannesburg, has to say to us in just about an hour, around 11 o'clock to be corrected, and see what is the next step for the multi-party coalition in terms of the standoff between themselves and the opposition parties, and at the center of it all being residents complaining of poor service delivery.
And that is the most important, service delivery. So possibly she can assure residents of Johannesburg that all is still well.